Welcome back to the NASA National Championships presented by Toyo Tires. We're at Miller Motorsports Park outside of Salt Lake City in Tooele, Utah. Beautiful city, about 87 degrees today. It's a little warmer than average. My name is Bill Wood. I'm with John Lindsay. I am just an average, everyday sports car fan. John, on the other hand, is the Chief Divisional Director of NASA. John, tell me about this Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development. Tell me about that race and what we're going to be seeing today.
Well, Bill, what we're going to have is two classes. Honda Challenge actually has 5 different classes, but we're just seeing 2 of them here today. Honda Challenge 1 and Honda Challenge 2, which are kind of the top dogs. As you can see on the screen there, these are limited prep Honda and Acura touring cars. They're all on the Toyo RA1 tire. And the H1 is allowed a little bit more preparation than the H2 car. So the H1 guys are a bit faster, and they can dig into the cylinder heads and port them and polish them a little bit. They're allowed more leeway on engine management and other things like that. Where H2 is really more of a stock-type class. But still, they're very fast. The H2 guys have to make do with 7-inch wide rims. H1 guys can go a bit wider than that, but this is a really neat class because the cars are not that far off from what you'll see on the street, yet they are pretty darn fast out there.
Now, you told me earlier that some of these guys have a chance to really make some serious money from the Toyo. Toyo has huge contingency sponsorships in this, and Honda has big contingency sponsorships.
Well, and Honda Performance Development has even gone beyond that. They have a $500 bounty that they paid to each one of the competitors this weekend to show up and help them with their entry fees. So that's very generous. On top of that, each of these classes has 10 or more starters. First place, $2,000 in cold hard cash. Second place, $1,500. Third place, $1,000. Fourth through last, they all get that $500 worth of appearance.
And that's just guaranteed. From Honda, from Honda Performance Development?
Exactly. And then on top of that, you add in the Toyo money, which is also cold hard cash. And it comes into a pretty good payday for whoever walks away with the H1 and the H2 titles.
So these guys are really, this is a sportsman environment. I almost call it a club, but this is not a club per se. This is a sportsman environment, and there's not really professional racing. But some of these guys are going to walk away with checks that total more than some professionals obtain in the bigger series that they run around the country.
Yeah, it's amazing that that Honda Performance Development has really stepped up to support these guys in this manner. And Toyo as well. It's very, very lucrative, and like you said, it's better than a lot of Pro Series payout. So they really have a chance to subsidize the cost of their racing a little bit this year.
Cars are on their way out to the track right now. The pace car has left the paddock, and they're leading the cars out onto the grid. Let's run through the starting order. We've got Brandon Kraus and Graham Downey will be on the front row. Graham Downey, the 2-time defending champion, 2008-2009. Chris McCoy and Lawrence Wang are in the second row. And in the third row, this is all in Honda Challenge 1. The third row is Brian Shanfield, a Honda engineer, next to Tom Felt. And then there's Andre Hartanto and Scott Wilkerson. They're in the fourth row. Randy Gibb and Pete Bovenberg is in the position 10. He had a special adventure this weekend.
Yeah, Pete's car actually burned to the ground during one of the Thursday sessions, and he took the effort to find another shell that had a roll cage in it, and they swapped everything over, and they were out there. This happened on Thursday morning. They were out there on Friday morning, and now he's come back.
Incredible. In Honda Challenge 2, John Almazan.
Sacramento, Oak Grove, California.
Oak Grove, California. That's on the pole for Honda Challenge 2. And Jeremy Crissett, a NASA official. He won setup. If you remember the TV show on Speed TV, he won that setup season 1. So you ever wonder what happens to the guys who win that sort of thing? One of them is there. He's in car 25, Jeremy Crissett. His boss is right behind him, Ryan Flaherty. He's a NASA chairman. Ryan is Jeremy's boss, and they're going to be going down the straight when they drop the green flag on these guys. They're going to be going down the straight bumper to bumper, Ryan promises. Donna Giglio is
She'll be right there next to Ryan, and then
and she's fourth in HC2.
Yep.
Then Benny Pakir.
Yes, our good friend Benny.
He's in the top four several times, but he's never won. Manny Coates. Then my friend, I have to give you a disclaimer here. Steph Papadakis is a longtime friend from front-wheel drive drag racing. He built the only Formula Drift car to win 2 class championships consecutively. And Lauren Fancy, Jonathan Maris, we're about ready to start the race. The pace car is off the track. They've left release, and they're going towards the green flag and start-finish line. This is Honda Challenge 1.
We're going to have a standing start here, Bill, so we'll wait for the starter to raise his flag and then twitch, and off they go. Bringing the flag up, unfurling it, and as soon as it goes down, they're out of here.
The flag is up. There they go. The green flag is dropped, and we're underway. Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development.
We have a stall, so that's going to be interesting what they do with this next round.
He's
off. That's good. Always a challenge with a standing start to have that happen.
Car number 66, Tom Felt. And here comes the Honda Challenge 2 cars. They have their own standing start.
Absolutely.
Interesting. All right. We're about ready to get started with the second this Honda Challenge 2 category. While the Honda Challenge 1 cars are underway, we had the green flag and we're off.
Looks like John Almazan got a great launch, and Jeremy's tucking right in behind him.
Ryan is not able to close in on Jeremy like he promised.
No, and he's got Benny looks like he's giving him a little push there down the inside.
Maybe that's what he was dependent upon, the push from Benny instead of keeping up with Jeremy.
I think that's there's John Maris coming inside to challenge. A big move by John Maris on the start. So it looks like Maris has moved up into P3 on the start. That's pretty darn good. And Jeremy is tucked in there right behind John Almazan.
In fact, the first and third place cars in your picture there, they're sharing a garage space.
They are, and it looks like John pushed it a little too hard.
Yeah, he pushed it a little too hard, had to move over, and now he's out in the dirt.
And Donna came right in there, and Ryan as well. That's that freight train we were talking about. If you lose that momentum, boy, it's going to cost you.
There's 15 turns here at Miller Motorsports Park. They're using the outer course, 3.05 miles. 15 turns. The last turn is the most important, maybe. It's fairly slow going on to a 3,000-foot runway. Turn 15 that the HC1 cars are approaching right now. They're going through release. Coming to the flag.
Looks like
Graham Downey.
Graham Downey
out in front leads by a long shot, maybe 10 car lengths. Graham Downey is your leader. Graham Downey, Brandon Krause, Brian Schanfeld, and Pete Bovenberg. He's taken that makeshift car, and he's gone already from 10th on the grid to 4th in lap 1. Graham Downey, a two-time defending champion, is leading. Brandon Krause, who was on the pole, is about 20. They show him about 0.2. Was more than that. He was further back than that. He was a long ways. But according to the results here is 0.2 back. Graham Downey, Brandon Krause, Brian Schanfield, Pete Bovenberg, Hartanto, Scott Wilkerson, and Tom Felt. He was the one that had the bad start.
And here come our H2s across the line. Almazan's holding on. Jeremy Crozet, Ryan Flaherty, Donna Giglio, John Maris, and looks like, let's see, number 72, Manny Coates has also moved up into that top 5 in H2.
Now, Maris is a perfect example. Maris had a good run. He was running second going into turn 1. He lost his momentum going through 2 and 3, and now he's fallen back to 4th. With a small displacement engine, momentum is the most important thing that you can have on a long track like this, where you don't have many slow turns to bunch the field. You've got to maintain your momentum and the speed. in order to stay up in the competition.
Yeah, if you don't have that, you really are just out of luck because you don't have that power to save you and help you recover. So you really have to conserve momentum when you're coming in and out of these corners because you don't have that big push. Ooh, looks like wow, Jeremy and Jonathan. Looks like Jeremy has taken the first from John Almazan there. They are going at it. Oh boy, and here comes Donna Giglio. She's coming up too.
So this means now the $1 million that they put up for the contingency for this race, most of it was raised by the guy in that car that's running second. He's fallen back to second to Almazan there in the Honda Challenge 2 category. He is the sales director. Is that his official title? He's moving again on Almazan. Seems like he has good momentum, and he's passed him again on one of the slow turns. There he's in perfect driving style to maintain that momentum, and he was able to get around him, it looked like, fairly easily.
And that's a lot of the interesting stuff in Honda Challenge here in the H2 class. You're allowed different weights for different engines, really regardless of the chassis that you're using. So Jeremy, I believe, is running probably one of the lighter weight combos, so that lighter weight helps him brake later and conserve more of that momentum as he's coming into the corners and probably not work the tire as hard. So have to watch that and see how that shakes out. But it looks like Jeremy is trying to put a little bit of time on John Almazan.
That's one of the things that NASA does do in all sorts of ways, is to maintain a balance between cars that are very different. You've got a little Civic there against an Acura, and they were able to come up with a formula that makes them equal on the racetrack, and it's done through a series of things. Once you declare your motor and your chassis, then they'll tell you how much everything needs to weigh in order for everything to be equal. There's Maris making a dive to the inside. He's challenging Almazan on turn one. See if he can make that hold on. Jeremy is gone bye-bye maybe.
Well,
and it looks like Maris is able to, he's holding on there. That was a good pass. He really got around him. A lot of speed, and he carried through that corner. Let's hope Almazan, there's the speed. That shows you what it does. If you don't have control of it entirely, kind of lost it a bit. Let's see if there's not a problem with Almazan. He seems to have backed off. He was the leader in the first turn, in the first lap, and now two cars have gotten around him.
Well, now you see also John Almazan and Jonathan Maris are very good buddies, and I think there was probably a lot of mutual respect there and giving each other the line and not trying to really rub doors a lot. So
that's why they shared the garage, because they were close friends. And
looks like we still have Graham Downey out in front in H1. Brandon Krause not letting him get away. Andrew Hartanto. And there is Brian Schanfeld still taking the top
Hartanto
floor.
had a great run yesterday. He won his qualifying race, and because of the problem that he had with his first qualifying race on Thursday, he was pushed back to seventh start, but he ran yesterday like he owned the track. He would look strong yesterday, and now he's moved up to he's running in the top five. But Graham Downey, you can see why. He is a two-time defending champion. He is holding his own. He's keeping a steady pace in the Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development here in the NASA National Championships presented by Toyota. Got that all in, and I hope everybody is happy, especially for Toyo, the Toyo Tires, not Toyota, Toyo Tires. All right, let's now that we have all that, this is we have a pass maybe, or challenge for the lead going into turn one. Maris is challenging Jeremy.
He got it.
Did he get around him? He got around him going into turn one. So we do have a run for the lead. I wonder if that surprised Jeremy a little bit. Maris has started at the front. He's worked his way back, and now he's come back to the front because of that momentum issue there in the first lap when he got bugged around at the beginning of the race.
And we have to see what's coming up in this corner because you saw that debris flag flying there, so it may be a little slippy for these
Well, there's
guys.
some debris there on the right. It's sort of out of the line, but we were able to tell the cars. We've got car number 55, Victor Chalk. It's coming in very slow. He's on pit lane. So let's get a quick break in here before we get too far. We had a good pass for the lead. Looks like this racing is going to be a lot closer than it was in our first race. This is the NASA National Championships presented by Toyo Tires at Miller Motorsports Park. We're looking at the Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development. We're getting ready to go to a break. Stay with us. We've got some spectacular racing. Come on back right after this.
The 2010 National Autosport Association Honda Challenge National Championship is brought to you by Honda Performance Development and Toyo Tires, driven to perform.
Quality and value, style, performance. Sure, you want it all, just don't want to spend it all. No problem. Just go with the brand voted #1 overall, Toyo Tires, for 7 of the last 9 years by people who know best. Independent tire dealers, just like me. So for top quality and top value, take it from the pros. Toyo Tires.
This is the NASA National Championships at Miller Motorsports Park. We're looking at the Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development. And this is the great racing that's happening on the track right now. We have Jeremy Cressett and
Jonathan Maris battling it out.
Maris are battling for the lead in the H2O category.
Little side to side there, and looks like Jeremy took out one of the pylons. Oh, they're rubbing. Oh, wait a minute.
Right off the track.
Oh,
wow.
I think that was, wow.
And like you promised me, Jeremy didn't lift in that whole thing.
I think those guys may have had a little emotional confrontation there with arguing over the line. So I imagine that one would probably be a matter for referral to the race director.
Is that something that the judges may look at? Both of them drove off the course.
Yep.
That's Jeremy Cressett in the Civic and Jonathan Maris in the Honda.
And it looks like Jeremy's CRX is loose there for some reason, so there may be a little bit of damage that may have happened during that side-to-side where Jeremy's lost a tire, or maybe he's gone out of alignment or something like that. It looks like we're under double yellow for a pace car, so we have something on the track here that needs to be taken care of.
The pace car has picked up the field and turn 1 and is bringing everybody to a slowdown. Maybe there is, it didn't look like they...
Looks like we have something happening over in the turn 2 area over there. I can see safety vehicles responding over that way. So that's probably where we have to go out and pick somebody up and get them out of an area where they're not safe to be there while we're going at full speed.
All right, let's give it a look here to the Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development. There's a bunch of debris there they're looking at now. I picked it up on the camera.
All right.
We're going to have to get rid of that. Does that look like it's from Jonathan's car? It looks like it might be.
That looks like it might be John Maris's back bumper. And I don't see, No, John still has his back bumper, so
we're under a full course caution at NASA National Championships presented by Toyo Tires in Miller Motorsports Park. We've got the Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development. I'll make that clear to you before this race is over.
Absolutely. Good job, Bill.
So we have our 2-time defending champion in H1, Graham Downey, who is leading the H1 category. Graham Downey, Brandon Krause, Andre Hartanto, Brian Shanfield, Pete Bovenberg. Remember that name because that's an enormous job that he's done. Thursday his car burned, and Friday he was able to get a spare car with there's the car that's going into
that's Manny Coates coming back into impound, so he must have had some sort of problem where he decided to park it and save it rather than try to continue on.
It looks like he has both of his bumpers, so I can't see the front of it, but at least the rear bumper is intact. All right. This doesn't happen too often in a sports car race, especially at the sportsman level, where you bring out the pace car. There's a running order: Graham Downey, Brandon Krause. Close is a second and a half, 1.6 seconds difference between Graham and Brandon. At least Graham, that's not checking out, but still he's not being challenged. It's almost 2-second lead.
And remember, that was the difference when they were out there under full chat, and now they're all going to be together under that pace car.
Again, yeah.
And I'm looking at the times that Brandon and Graham are running, and actually the last lap time that we have where they were still at full throttle, Brandon was about, probably 0.3 quicker than Graham was.
And that's the running order for H2: Jeremy Cressette, Donna Giglio, John Almazan, Ryan Flaherty, Jonathan Maris. Jonathan Maris was leading this race. He's been all up and down. He's been in second, first, third. Now he's back to fifth. And maybe he had some problem. He and Jeremy ran off the course. And it's funny, not funny, but you mentioned that at the beginning, that Jeremy, he keeps his foot in it. If he gets into the dirt, he doesn't lift. He keeps going, and we had a perfect example of that right at the beginning of the when the two of them ran off. He didn't lift. He got back on the track and kept going.
He's got a future in off-road racing if he wants it.
They have Lucas Oil off-road races here. The pace car is off, and we're about to go racing again. They come out of release, turn 15, and the starter waves the green flag, and we're racing again. Graham Downey.
Look at that run that Hartanto has coming around the outside.
Hartanto is going around the outside, and he's got the trap maybe for...
he's going to try to get around the outside, and that is...
Brandon.
That's actually not bad, because
there we
that's
go,
a good
four
line.
wide into turn one, where only one car could fit. Downey takes that one road through there. They thin out, and sure enough, they had to back off because it's not that wide down there. Plus, you can't get too out of control because you have to maintain your momentum going through 2, 3, and 4.
Boy, and Hartanto is pushing, trying to get around Brandon Krause there. He's letting him know he's there. Maybe a little bit of the chrome horn.
You see these cars are Hondas and Acuras, and Hartanto has a Prelude there, doesn't he?
No, that's actually a TSX, I believe, that Andre's running. And you see he just managed to get by Brandon Krause.
So we can see why Graham is a two-time defending champion. They dropped the green flag, and he's moved out already.
Here comes our H2 cars. Looks like Maris and Almazan are back together again. Maybe, I'm not sure. That may be somebody else. Now what we're going to see, though, Bill, is because they're back together, H1 and H2 are all right together now. And as we noted during some of the earlier races, some of the slower cars are faster than some of the slow, fast cars, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah, right. The fast cars are fast. And again, in a smaller category engine class, momentum is the thing, and the guys that are fast in the slow cars are able to maintain their momentum, and they can keep up with some of the slower cars that are more powerful.
It looks like Graham is staying out front there and trying to extend his lead while Hartanto
has gotten around.
And they're battling. So again, while Downey may be able to check out a little bit, while Krause and Hartanto are battling, because those two guys are not able to run their fastest lap times when they're trying to defend and challenge for those positions.
But Hartanto had a good run yesterday. I don't know what he did Thursday, but he had a good run yesterday. He's gotten around Krause into second. So now he's got nothing between him and Graham Downey. He can chase down Downey if he can maintain that momentum and stay after him.
Yeah, and it looks like Donna Giglio has moved up the order. She's going after Jeremy now, and John Almazan and Ryan Flaherty are right behind her. So they're all going to be together trying to get after John Almazan again. Or actually Jeremy, excuse me. They're going to try to run Jeremy down and hope he makes some kind of error or gets caught up in traffic.
Now, Donna was right behind in the qualifying race yesterday. There was a car that caught fire going into the backside of the track here, and Donna was directly behind that car. Had video of the car just erupting into flame, and it was at one of the faster parts of the track here on the backside going into the clubhouse turn. That's where the guy pulled over and let the fire marshals come to the car there. That must have been quite a shock to sit there and see somebody you're following just erupt into flame.
It's hard to keep concentration. That was Jimmy Chilcott yesterday, and speculation is he may have banged the oil pan when he went off and broke the big end of the rod and then shot it straight through the side of the block and gave us a nice oil fire. It was the flame was about probably a car length behind him and darn near as tall as the car.
These aren't supposed to be ventilated blocks and air cooled, are they?
Yeah, it looks like we have another car off. Safety crew responding. Oh, looks like it's Ryan Flaherty's off, and he's probably mechanical of some sort. Safety truck is there.
So wait
checking
a minute.
him out.
The national chairman of NASA is not able to make things work in his behalf so that they stop everything until his car gets fixed?
Hey, we're trying to give everybody a fair shake. Ryan would never invoke the executive power to have a black flag and pull everybody into the pit while he could work on the car for a little bit.
So it would appear that Brandon Krause has gotten back around Artanto.
Yeah, and so Brandon's going to get back out there and try to run Graham down now.
With all the different speed cars together again, you can see where...
Looks like we had a little something happen over in the clubhouse
looped
corner.
over in the clubhouse turn. One of the back markers looped and didn't hit anything, and he's still going. So we have Graham Downey and Andre Hartanto. Downey is about 2 seconds ahead of Hartanto right now. Brandon Krause, Brian Shanfield, Pete Bovenberg, and Jeremy Cressette. Jeremy has fallen all the way back to 6th. Jeremy leads the, he's 6th overall, and he leads the Honda Challenge category. He's ahead of Scott Wilkerson, who was 7th overall. Donna Giglio is 2nd in H2, trailing Jeremy Cressette. So in H2, we have Cressette, Giglio, and John Almazan. Those are the top 3 in the H2 category. Jonathan Merritt is 4th, and Benny Pecure is 5th. That's H2. Downey, Hartanto, Krause, and Shanfield, and Bovenberg. That's the top 5 in H1.
Yeah, and we can see on the back as they go into the attitudes now that Graham is really trying to keep that big lead over Brandon, but Brandon is staying in there and trying to put a little bit of distance on Andre as we're going along.
That's a nice looking car. He really utilizes the shoulder there, the rumble strips. He gets up on them. The car gets up on 2 wheels, and he handles that car well.
Well, you paid for the whole track, so you might as well use all of it.
There's a good line. That's why he wins championships, and he might get his 3rd here in the 2010 NASA National Championships.
You bet. These guys are driving flat out. That's what they're doing.
So the Downey, Hartanto, Krause, and Shanfield. That's our top 4 in H1. In H2, the top 4 are Cressette, Giglio, Almazan, and Pecure. Let's go to a break. We've got some great racing that's going on here in the NASA National Championships presented by Toyo Tires. This is the Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development. Let's go to a break right now. We'll be right back. This is the NASA National Championships at Miller Motorsports Park.
The 2010 National Autosport Association Honda Challenge National Championship is brought to you by Honda Performance Development and Toyo Tires, driven to perform.
Quality and value. Style. Performance. Sure, you want it all. Just don't want to spend it all. No problem. Just go with the brand voted #1 overall, Toyo Tires. For 7 of the last 9 years by people who know best. Independent tire dealers, just like me. So for top quality and top value, take it from the pros. Toyo Tires.
This is the 5th annual NASA National Championships. We're at Miller Motorsports Park. I'm Bill Wood with John Lindsay. And while we were gone, Jeremy Cressette in the H2 category, Jeremy Cressette still leads but Jonathan Maris has passed two cars, Donna Giglio and John Almazan. He had some problems that he and his family were working on the car yesterday for a long while. They were revving up the motor and everything. What, Jonathan, you were able to talk to them and find out what was wrong with the Jonathan Maris team.
Yeah, Jonathan had dropped out of the race yesterday and come in early, and it turns out he had a bad igniter. So while they were revving it, as they were trying to chase down that mist, and when you have a big miss like that, you really have to fix it because it has a misfire at high RPMs, especially with a close tolerance motor like this. You really run a risk of something detonating and maybe losing the whole motor and the whole program.
They were revving it up a couple of times I went by there, and they were really laying into it pretty hard. I guess they wanted to challenge the thing and find out. He's coming out of release, approaching the start-finish line right now.
Now look at this.
Jonathan is now moved up to first. Jeremy Cressette has dropped by the wayside, so where he hasn't come down. I don't see him. There is some smoke over there going into 13.
Yeah, we've lost Jeremy. He's out there somewhere. It's hard to see. We're pretty far away from all the different corners. So Jeremy, what we're getting a report is that Jeremy may have gone back paddock, so he may have hurt something in the car, pushed that motor too hard. Maybe that off-roading broke something in the suspension, flat tire. We don't know, but John Maris has gotten back out in front now.
That's determination. He has been all over the course. He's been off-road with Jeremy Cressette, and now he leads the H2 category over Donna Giglio second and Benny Pecure third.
That's great. Benny's going to be happy. He's got a striking chance now at getting his win that's eluded him for the past 4 years.
Gregory Neuwirth is fourth, and up into fifth is the guy who had the fire yesterday, Jimmy Chilcott.
Yeah, he put in a brand new, well, not brand new, but a new-to-the-car motor after he shot that motor out and had that big Saturn V booster come out the back. So that shows that Pete Bovenberg rebuilt his whole car, and now Jimmy is moving up the order after doing a motor swap. So never give up, never give up.
Lauren Fancy is sixth, and my buddy Steph Papadakis is seventh in the national championships here at NASA National Championships here at Miller Motorsports Park. Graham Downey, two-time champion 2008 and 2009, still leads the field over Brandon Krause, Andre Hartanto, Brian Shanfield, the engineer from Honda, in fourth, and Pete Bovenberg in fifth. Jonathan Maris is sixth in the race and leads the H2 category.
And it looks like Downey and Krause have opened up probably about a 10-second gap over the rest of the field. So, again, kind of similar to what we saw in a few of the other races where the two top guys just start motoring away together. Maybe they work together a little bit, they don't challenge, they get some good times in, and then they save it for the end. Looks like Andre got past there. I think that's Shanfield that got by him. So those are two Acura, I think a TL and a TSX now, two luxury sedans battling it out.
So Shanfield, the Honda engineer, is able to get by Hartanto into third place. That's a battle for position there. Right now it's held by Shanfield over Hartanto. The three cars are there together.
It looks like we have another challenge coming up. I believe that is Chris McCoy coming up trying to challenge both Hartanto and Shanfield there.
Is it possible that Hartanto might be having some problems because he seems to be backing up as much as the other cars are getting around him?
Yeah, I agree. He seems to be slowing down. And Chris McCoy, a local guy from Utah, in RSX Type S Acura is coming up to try and get by those other two Acuras.
He wants to get around Hartanto. It seems like he is faster, but he can't make the move here in the slow stuff. If he can get around him in by 15 in release, then maybe he can use some of the speed. If Hartanto is indeed having troubles, maybe he'll be able to use some of that speed to make a move on him on this long straight.
Well, and it might be a crafty game with Hartanto trying to get in there in the draft and just get that little bit of extra oomph, and or actually it would be Chris McCoy coming in behind Hartanto trying to get a little bit of oomph to get around him. Here they come. It looks like those second pack of three may be closing up on our first two.
That's Downey crossing the finish line. Brandon Krause is second. Now our Shanfield, our Tonto.
Yeah, it looks like McCoy might have been listening, because he is closing up on Andre and trying to get into his baffles there so he can get some clean air and maybe make a run on him going down into turn one.
Now remember, in NASA racing, to defend your position, you can only make one move per corner. So that means that coming out of 15, going to 1 in this long straight, you can only make one move. You can't like move back and forth to break the draft. You have to stay with it.
Yeah, it looks like, wow, we've got some movement happening in Honda Challenge 2, where now Donna Giglio and Jonathan Maris are really checking out from the rest of the field, similar to what's happening in H1. So maybe they're working together a little bit, and they're going to try that chess game towards the end and see what's happening. There's Ryan Flaherty's car with the hood up. I guarantee he's not a happy camper right now. He's all blowed up after having a start in P3 and a really good chance to do good here in the race today. But he's a good sportsman.
And the car is there, and it's out of the way, so he's going to leave it there while the race continues.
Yeah, he gets to watch it from the air-conditioned comfort of a Ford F-350 instead of from the hot cockpit of a CRX.
This is the Honda Challenge, H1 and the H2 categories. This is the Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development. So the NASA officials, we had Jeremy Cressett and Ryan Flaherty, his boss. Both of them now are out of the event.
Well, I guess that's good. They can get back to work now.
There's no sense in having fun when everybody else is supposed to be working.
Yeah.
Get out there and blast away.
Yeah. Well, both of them are true gearheads, and they really love racing. So I'm sure they're both upset to be out, but they'll be happy for the other guys that are still in the race and are going to bring home some pretty good coin here today.
The battle for third still continues between Shanfield, Hartanto, and McCoy. I think McCoy is still in the race there. They're coming out of, there's Shanfield about to cross the start-finish line. Hartanto and McCoy, that's a really good wrap he's got on the car with the camouflage.
Just hope he doesn't go off where the safety crew can't find him.
Well, it's kind of a grayish color. If he had the Desert Storm camouflage out here in the Utah desert, you might, without the dust clouds, you might have a problem finding him.
No, it looks like things may heat up in H2 a little bit. Donna is closing up on Jonathan here and may make a run at him going into turn one. But look at the gap that they've opened up between themselves and Benny.
And Donna is drafting him. She's staying right behind him going into turn one. And let's see if she's able to close more. She's still got about, several car lengths to close in. Gets
Donna's
turn pretty well.
She's a very experienced racer, so I think she's biding her time here, similar to how Dave Belinget did in that CMC race. And we'll see if she just keeps in striking distance there, conserving some tire, and then she'll go after Jonathan there, or hope he makes a mistake at some point.
Yeah, these are about 40-minute races. We're about 30 minutes into this 40-minute race right now. So running 2-minute laps, we've got about 5 laps to go. So if she has anything left, she's going to have to start closing in now, unless with Jonathan Maris has had all sorts of problems. He's been on and off the track. So we don't know what's going to happen with him, but he's pushing hard right now and is working towards a national championship in the H2 category here in NASA.
Looks like Graham Downey is really starting to extend out a lead on Brandon Krause there. And that second group of looks like 4 cars in H1 is starting to close up a little bit, but the gaps are remaining pretty consistent in H1.
You're a driver. When you see that I can't catch him and I've got second place, do you just start working on maintaining second, or do you still keep pressing to try to get to the guy in first?
Honestly, it just depends on what kind of week I've been having. If I've had one of those hard weeks where the car keeps blowing up and everything else, I'm thankful just to see a checkered flag, not from the cab of the tow truck.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But there's still that will to win, and you always want to try and give it your best shot. And I think knowing some of these competitors like I do, I don't think any of them are willing to settle.
There's Maris. Looks like he's opened up a few more car lengths on Donna Giglio.
Yeah, I can imagine that he's working it as hard as he can, but you saw a couple times Jonathan's car got a little bit loose when he was coming through. I saw him get really loose coming through the workout turn number 3. So he's got to be careful not to work those rear tires too hard. If the car already has a loose condition, it'll exacerbate that when the tires get hot and start going away. And I bet you Donna will be right there and ready to pounce.
Yeah, we still have a little time left, but there needs to be, if there's going to be any challenge by the P2 positions on either one of these, they better happen pretty quick. Our race for third place is still, Shanfield now has sort of taken over Hartanto. McCoy still hasn't been able to make the pass on Hartanto, so it looks like that might be decided also.
Well, it looks like there's a good race for 4, 5, 6 there, and nobody is giving anything away there.
Now they're making somebody's making a move on McCoy there.
I think it's Lawrence Wang. He and McCoy are right there, and they're going to come up and challenge Hartanto a little bit. And the 3 of them work that out, and then someone may go after Brian Shanfield.
Yeah, Lawrence Wang, he kept kind of quiet. He qualified 4th and now is up into 4th, I believe. So he has moved up, moved Hartanto back another spot in class. Maybe Hartanto has a problem because he was leading this race at one point very strongly, and he's starting to back up now, as well as people getting around him. He's starting to back up to the rest of them.
And there's Graham Downey across the line again, and it looks like that gap is getting even bigger as we get back to Brandon Krause. There's John Almazan. He's going slow, so he must have hurt something, and he's just staying in it just to notch some laps and see where he finishes in
He's
H2.
slowed way down. He's staying out of the way on the inside of this long straightaway. You can see him on the right of the frame there, and in the white Acura, and he's sharing the garage with Jonathan Maris. If Jonathan wins this thing, he's going to have to sit there and watch him celebrate with all of his family.
Well, and those guys are such good friends. I think if one of them wins it, the other one will be just as happy, and they'll be high-fiving.
Yeah, they might say that, but
you never know.
It's tough to watch your buddy celebrate and you can't celebrate with him. I've had that problem once or twice in my life too. Sometimes you have to just sit back and bite your tongue and go home and scream into the closet.
And that's the joy of racing, right?
That's why we do this, so
right.
We can scream into the closet.
Of course. Well, it looks like Gregory Newworth is still hanging in there in 4th place, right behind Denny. And I imagine there will be a challenge there. We're probably coming down to the last couple of laps here. I wouldn't be surprised to see the white flag coming out quick to tell us it's our final lap.
Yeah, we're 35 minutes into this race right now. You can follow the live timing and scoring at drivenasa.com. You can get it through the NASA Championships page and go into the live timing and scoring, and you can follow what's happening on the track as well as watch this stream here on Speedcast TV. Graham Downey, our 2-time defending champion, 2008 and 2009. He leads by about 5-6 seconds over Brandon Krause, our pole sitter in this race.
And this, I think, is our white flag lap, Bill. I see right now Graham Downey is coming into release, and I see the starter over there has a white flag in his hand, so this is going to be our last lap. So we'll have to watch how some of these close battles start playing out.
I don't know that anybody is close enough. There's the white flag for Graham Downey.
Yeah.
Our H1 leader, Graham Downey, Brandon Krause, Brian Shanfield.
Yeah, it looks like our 3, 4, 5, 6 in H1 there have spread out a little bit now. So
Andre Hartanto and Lawrence Wang, those are our top.
Now we just have to find out where Donna and Jonathan are. They're coming in clubhouse turn right now. So it looks like Jonathan has opened it up a little bit. So Donna's got to get the hustle on here if she's going to try to make a move here on the white flag lap and get on that top step.
If you're going to hear an interesting story tonight, I don't know if he has a blog or tweets or Facebook, but he's going to have a great story of how he's been all over the top 5 or 6, 7 places in this race. He's been in the first place like he is now. He's been back into 5th and 6th place. We've got something that needs to be worked out here between 2 cars that are coming to the start-finish line right now.
Looks like Gregory Newworth is going to come and give Benny a challenge, see if Benny can hold on to that third step on the podium. Looks like he's making a move right now down the front straight.
He didn't draft him far enough, it would seem, as they go into turn one. At the end of the straight, he could have used a little more of that draft.
We'll see if he gets him. And we're looking down there, and it looks like Newworth pulled it off and passed Benny. Oh, boy.
That's straight power, because he moved out about halfway down the straight and still was able to get around it.
And that may be, when we're talking about it with the different motors and different weights, okay, well, Benny Benny is driving a smaller car, maybe less weight. He might be able to eat him up in the corners and get that third position back. But down the straight, it's power.
So let's see, we're all on the last lap now.
And our leaders coming into the clubhouse corner. Very clean race for Graham Downey. Looks like he's going to take home a third championship here in Honda Challenge 1, presented by Honda Performance Development.
Qualified on the front row, qualified second. He's ahead of Brandon Krause, who qualified on the pole.
So it looks like they're coming here to the line, and there he is, Graham Downey. Congratulations, taking that win in Honda Challenge 1.
Well, 3 in a row, that's not bad. He's got one for each end of the book stand and another one to go on another shelf somewhere.
So he and Scott McKay can get together and compare notes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's find our H2. There they are. There's Jonathan Maris still staying out in front, trying to keep Don Agilio behind him as they come down to the finish line here for the H2 class.
So the final in H1, Downey, Krause, Shanfield, Hartanto, and Boltenberg.
Here come Maris and Gilio through, looks like she's not going to get him, but you never know. Something might happen in that last corner. Of course, I want to knock on wood so I don't jinx Jonathan's run here.
Jonathan has run too well and has a much deserved championship here for 2010 in the H2 category.
There they are. Now let's see.
Maris and Donna Gilio.
Now look at this 3-4-5. Looks like there's going to be a challenge to Benny here just to hold on to fourth position now. Looks like Gregory Newworth is going to make it stick for, actually, no. Yeah, that's Greg Newworth. There's Benny. And there's Jimmy Chilcott coming back from a disaster to finish in 5th place in H2.
So it's great stories that are going on here in the NASA National Championships presented by Toyo Tires. Let's go to break right now. We'll talk about what happens for these guys next. In case you weren't with us in our first race, this is the Honda Challenge race for H1 and H2. Our national champions, Graham Downey, his third in a row, and where's the name here?
Brandon Krause.
Jonathan Maris won the H2 category.
Yes.
And both of them going away in the Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development.